Hey guys, welcome back. This is the fourth of the 4 survival archetype series. We have covered the child energy, which is who you are, who you were born to be, the saboteur energy, which is the protector and the defender, and you're also your power center. And then we covered the victim in the shadow, victorious in the light side, how you claim your power back, how you choose to show up in the world. And now we're on to the last of the survival archetypes, is the prostitute. And when I say prostitute, I don't actually necessarily mean Vivian in Pretty Woman, although we will use her as an example. But the prostitute archetype is where you have been willing to sell yourself, to sell your power, to give in to something in order to stay safe. And the way this all works, like I said, you're born as a child. You're born as this beautiful, open, totally connected soul. And we're born into families and parents and grandparents and society that is designed to close us off. That's exactly how it is. We live in Earth Plane, which is the school of hard knocks. Like, we're here to be defended. Like, we come in as these beautiful, amazing babies, and we get closed off almost immediately. And so we get closed off, and the saboteur happens and says, nope, you'll not get past me, right? And then the victim says, how you did this to me, how dare you? That should never have happened. Look what you did to me. All in service of protecting that child and keeping that child safe. And then we get the prostitute, and the prostitute's like, well, I'm not going to do that because I always want to stay safe. So I'm always going to do this thing to please you and make you happy so that I'm always safe, right? So you could have a prostitute in your first chakra, which means you will sacrifice everything and anything for this good of your family, because that's what good moms do, or that's what good dads do, or that's what good people do. We sacrifice for our family. You could have a prostitute in your second chakra, which means you will do a soul-sucking job because it pays you really well, or you will stay in a relationship because it meets your needs, right? You will stay married to someone who you don't even like anymore because you need a house and security. The victim in this, the prostitute in your third chakra says, no, it's all about you. No, I'll absolutely take care of you. What I live to serve, it's you. Whatever you need, I'll get for you, right? You could have a prostitute in the fourth chakra. I have my prostitute in my fourth chakra. I will do anything to be in a relationship, heart-centered, emotional relationship, even at sometimes the expense of what's good for me. My heart is always going to be yours. My heart is yours, because I would rather the safety of a relationship than it took me a long time to understand having compassion for myself meant setting boundaries. You might have a prostitute in your fifth chakra, your voice, which means you won't actually say that thing that's so important. I'm just going to keep my mouth shut and keep the peace. I'm just going to not say words. I'm just going to keep the peace. I don't want conflict. I know it's I don't want conflict. I'm just going to keep my mouth shut. Right? You might have brilliant ideas and vision and thoughts for the world, but nope. Let's play small. Let's keep it. Let's not. No, that's not. Nobody wants to hear that, right? Wherever your prostitute is, that's what you're willing to sell out in order to stay safe. It's always in service of protecting that child. Yes, Pretty Woman. I mean, I sort of feel like everybody knows Pretty Woman, but the story of Pretty Woman, Vivian is a prostitute, Julia Roberts, and she meets up with Richard Gere, who's a mega millionaire. And she's a prostitute. She gets paid she's a sex worker. She actually gets paid to have sex. And she meets this guy, and she's like, yeah, let's, and then he brings her home, and he's like, I want you to stay for the night. And so she negotiates with him. So she's a prostitute, but she knows her worth. She has boundaries. She says, I will never kiss you on the lips. These are my terms. And then he wants her to stay for the week, and she negotiates a price. She says, ultimately she says, I don't know, $6,000, and he says $3,000, and they settle on $5,000. And he says to her, She said, I would have stayed for 3. And he says, I would have paid 6. Right? So that prostitute she knew her worth, but she didn't claim it, but she was willing to negotiate. So when the prostitute goes to transcendence, now the prostitute actually knows how worth it she is. He is, right? We all have a prostitute. Not all of us are sex workers, but if you get paid for sex, you know your worth. But wherever your prostitute is, know your worth in that place, and that is how you start to come into power. Child is your energy. That's who you can't help but be. Be that, and stop letting someone else tell you it's not okay. Saboteur. What's your power center? You don't have to blow shit up. You don't have to protect. Choose to live in a friendly universe. Victim. Victims are dead. You have survived 100% of your worst days. Right? You get to be victorious and tell a different story. Prostitute. You fucking matter. Know your worth. Know your worth. That's the survival archetypes. Stay tuned. I'll be doing some more of different types of archetypes, because while we have the 4 survival, and then every single person has another 8 that tell the story of who we are. And we're going to go through some examples. I'm going to give you some real world examples of these archetypes, and you can start to try them on and feel them. And I hope you have a great day. Know your worth.